Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Hooligan Report, back after the Christmas and New Year break. Hope everyone's had a good bit of time off. With me today we have for the first time Bojan KantKick.
Today?
We also have Cruyff back.
Good afternoon.
And Cookson, as always.
Good afternoon.
So we've missed a couple of weeks of the Premier League, so we might just jump into discussing the transfers. But I might first ask, we've got the two Manchester United boys. How do you see Man United?
Lucky us.
Yeah, bit outnumbered now. How have you seen Man United's couple of games over the Christmas period?
Dull.
Dull?
They're really struggling to create anything going forward. Bit of kind of tiki-taka stuff. Passing's been okay, but they just don't look threatening in the final third unless Rooney's pulling the strings, really.
I mean, Rooney's form's got to be a bit promising. At least he's managed to score a couple of goals, I think. Draw with Stoke wouldn't have been too good, but I think that was a bit of a weird weekend for results around the top six anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's Stokes an annoying
Yeah,
side.
I'm not quite sure why Van Gaal hasn't...
Sorry,
we don't always play that well against them. We don't always play that well against Stoke because they're quite physical, and we probably miss guys from last few years. Like Nemanja Vidic was always very good against Stoke and helped a lot having his presence there. So without him, we've struggled a fair bit. And on your earlier point, Rooney's been, well, him and De Gea are players of the season by a fair distance at the moment.
De Gea hasn't been that good, really.
De Gea? I'd say it's been pretty good.
Dangling the
Well,
At least he's not having. At least De Gea's not having a smoke in the change rooms after a game.
Don't get me started.
Yeah, Cruyff, have you rated Arsenal's couple of games?
I was surprised we beat West Ham. Actually, I was quite pleased with that result, and I would have taken a draw quite gladly. But to see we came away at Upton Park with the win was refreshing. But then the calamity at Southampton. I mean, even though it was at St Mary's, the way we lost is very disappointing.
Your defending in that game was very, very average, I must say.
I wouldn't call it defending.
Is there any chance that Chesney might get dropped now for Ospina?
I think so. I mean, it can't hurt, really. I mean, Chesney, he's just prone to... He thinks he's King Dick, and he does stupid things like that. I think the smoking thing really would have got to Wenger as well. So Ospina should be given a run of games to see how he performs, and if he's no good, bring Chesney back. But if he manages to perform well, there's no reason why he shouldn't be first choice for a period of time.
Yep, well, fair enough then. Hull had 2 wins out of 3, so I was pretty happy with that as well. On to transfer rumours. I wanted to start with the one that got confirmed, I think it was yesterday or today, which was Kramerich to Leicester. And Jats posted an interesting article in the transfers thread about how Kramerich choosing Leicester over Chelsea might actually be kind of a wake-up call for Chelsea in the way that they do their business. What's your guys' take on it?
One of the other boys can go first.
Wasn't he that he's gone to Leicester because Chelsea couldn't buy him, then loan him out?
I think that's a bit unclear. I think the exact terms of it, as Jats was saying, was if Leicester gets relegated, he has a clause that he can activate that would let him go straight to Chelsea, but if Leicester stay up, then it's just a standard sort of transfer and he'll stay at Leicester, which I think is pretty much a win-win for Leicester, really, because if he does well, they stay up, then he gets to keep, he stays at Leicester, but if he does poorly and goes down, then off he goes to Chelsea.
I mean, it seems like a win-win for both teams, really, because Leicester did a high-quality, or potentially high-quality player that they may not otherwise have gotten. If he just wants to play for Chelsea, if he keeps them up, then he can stay there, and Chelsea might come in there and buy him anyway, pay 20 mil for a proven Premier League player.
Yeah.
And if they go down and he's no good, they don't have to buy him. So yeah, I don't see what the. I think it's.
I think it's a reasonably smart move for Leicester. I mean, as mentioned, he keeps them up. He stays in the Premier League. He goes down. Chelsea get first refusal on him. So it's really a win-win for the player and the club.
The only issue then would be if he was terrible or got injured or something, and Leicester were relegated, and Chelsea then turned around and said, well, thanks, but no thanks, we don't want him. And Leicester, I guess, would be stuck with his wages, but you'd expect they'd probably have...
though, really.
Yeah, you'd think they'd have relegation clause and stuff.
Yeah. Something like that was bad luck.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah,
And
as you say,
also-
it's pretty much win-win.
And they'd also be in that situation anyway if they just bought him outright without any clauses. So it's no real difference from Leicester's perspective if he gets injured or they go down and Chelsea refuse to buy him.
Yeah, and that's a good point as well.
Chelsea don't actually need him, though, to be honest. I don't think.
Well, I suspect he's being brought in as a third choice behind Remy and Costa for when Drogba retires, because I think Drogba's only there on a one-year deal.
Yeah, Drogba's 36 or something. This will probably be his last season, but I guess he has a third choice. But I mean, if he's a third choice, he really wouldn't be playing that much anyway.
Yeah. It's an interesting one. So do you guys reckon there'll be a bit of a change in the way Chelsea do their business, or do we think this is just not really too much of a bother for Chelsea in terms of Chelsea's policy of sort of buying players and then loaning them out immediately, and a lot of those players never actually coming into the team?
Don't think anything would change personally. I could be wrong, but I don't see why they would change their business. It's working for them. The players don't seem to care. I mean, there's no reason why they should change it, in my opinion, anyway.
Yep.
Yeah, look, the only way they'd change it is if highly touted players coming through decline to go to Chelsea for that reason. And until that happens or they change the regulations, they'll just keep doing it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, to be fair, if I was a young player and Chelsea were interested in buying me, even if I didn't think I was ever going to play for Chelsea themselves, knowing that they have such a good structure set up that would get me to a club of a decent level that, one day...
What if Hull were knocking on the door too?
Oh, okay. You know what I mean, though.
Yeah.
As a young player, I don't think the issue of not playing for Chelsea would really affect your decision to go there.
You have someone like, say, Kakuta, who was meant to be great, let's say 4 years ago, for argument's sake. I don't even know if he's played a senior game for them. He may have, but I mean, he's pretty much either not reached his potential or spent years at other clubs across Europe.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's an interesting one. I mean, you look at players like Van Ginkel and Lukaku and players of that ilk who have come through the Chelsea system and are now first-team players at other clubs, and Chelsea have netted quite a decent amount of money for them.
Van Ginkel's on loan, isn't he?
Yeah.
No, was he?
I'm pretty sure he's on loan.
Or is it De Bruyne I'm thinking of?
De Bruyne.
Was he the one who was
De Bruyne.
Yeah,
Sorry, I get them mixed up.
Yeah, De Bruyne is at Wolfsburg.
That's the one I'm thinking of, sorry, yeah, De Bruyne.
Yeah. Van Ginkel's at Vitesse, maybe, in Holland, I think.
With all the other Chelsea players, yeah.
Yeah. But no, De Bruyne
was at AC Milan.
Sorry?
I thought Van Ginkel was at AC Milan. Well, I'm sure Chelsea got one player.
I'll check it. You could be right. I have no idea Van Ginkel.
I know they have a lot at Vitesse.
You're right. He's at Milan.
Yeah.
I apologise.
Didn't form a great partnership with Torres.
Torres, no.
Yep.
Moving on, we've got some other transfers to discuss, and I guess the other big one in the headlines at the moment is Wilfried Bony's potential move to Manchester City for, I think it's around 30 million. What do we make of that one?
Good move for both parties.
It's probably too expensive, but there's a January tax.
I'll probably be selling one of the guys.
Sorry, Top Club?
I think it means that one of the guys will be out the door pretty soon.
You have
they got Zeko, Negredo, probably Jova, yeah, Jova. Because he hasn't really gotten many minutes.
And I think Negreto's already confirmed to be leaving at the end of the season, isn't he?
He'll stay at Valencia, surely.
Yeah, for like 25 million, I think Kizza was saying.
Well, Kizza also mentioned that if they sign Boney, he'll have Silva feeding him, Yaya playing beside Aguero. It really, minus an epic collapse or failure in something, there's no reason why Boney can't perform at City.
And the thing is, he's the top scorer in the Premier League for 2014.
Exactly.
At a club like Swansea, that's pretty impressive.
Now, imagine him with Silva feeding him passes.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
I think it can only be a good move for both parties, really. Bad for the rest of the league, but I mean, money talks. But I mean, City are in a position to spend. They need a forward with Aguero as well, and if they can sign him, good on him.
And yeah, as you said, I think the only
side, really.
No, he won't. I don't think he played for them in the League Cup. Oh, has he played in the League?
It's the FA Cup that to be more concerned about, I'd say. But he can play Champions League.
Yeah.
Right. So that's something that he can just come straight in, improve their Champions League for the second half of the season.
Do you guys think he'll sign for City, or?
I reckon he probably won't get the minutes to be able to really shine that much, because you expect Aguero to start most games, and same with Dzeko to get most of his sub appearances.
Yeah, I think they're saying Aguero is pretty much fit to play from here, and obviously Bonny's off at African Cup of Nations. So what, would we see him in a front two with Aguero, or do you reckon Dzeko would still start ahead of him?
I'd play Boney personally.
Yeah. I mean, does anyone really sign
Boney
a
should
£30
be
million
ahead.
player and then not play him?
Yeah, you'd think he'd have to be starting ahead of Dzeko, but...
For that price, yeah.
Yeah.
Dzeko might even leave. Like, you don't know.
Well, someone was suggesting he might go the other way to Swansea as part of the deal, which...
I doubt it.
Well, if Swansea could manage it, would be pretty good.
I think he's on 120k a week or something. I don't think Swansea can afford that, personally, so...
Yeah. Well, because that's the other thing, is that Bonnie's apparently now going to be on about 100k a week with bonuses and stuff as well, which is a huge jump in salary for him, you'd think.
Yeah.
I didn't think that striker was a problem for Man City, myself.
What did you think
I
was?
thought they were pretty covered in that area. Well, I don't think... I'm not sure if they've got any real glaring errors. Maybe left back, maybe...
Yeah,
midfield.
I'd say left back. I reckon they're pretty right in midfield and on the wing. I'd say left back.
Well, that's it. I mean, like, their squad is...
Either full back side, really. I don't even know who their backup right back is.
They've got Sanya and Zavaleta.
Oh, Sanya, yeah. I mean, yeah, left back then I'd say only.
And that's the thing, is Man City have such a well-rounded squad at the moment.
Great depth. Great depth.
Exactly. So the other big kind of controversial signing happening at the moment is way down in... Is it League One, I believe, with Oldham signing Ched Evans, and I think their chairman's come out and suggest that he served his time and that he deserves to have another chance at a football club. But there's been a lot of controversy around it. I think there's a few sponsors who've threatened to cancel their deals with Oldham. What do you guys reckon on it? I know it's a bit of a touchy subject.
I can see why the sponsors want to pull out, but as someone said, it might have been Moomba. He's done his time. There's no reason why he should be able to work again, really.
Yeah, I've got to agree with that.
Yep. I mean, it's not Evans' fault that the sentence is too lenient or anything like that. I mean, and after prison, you probably still have a right to work. But didn't you post about Marlon King?
Yeah, Marlon King's another great example, who I think was convicted of assault while he was with us. I think he was on loan from Wigan, and he obviously went to jail and all that sort of thing. And he came out and he was playing at Birmingham a couple of years ago. And I think Mumba was saying he's now in trouble again. But it's another example where, I mean, if you've done your time, you've served, you've been in prison and you've been released, you should have a chance to resume your normal life, really.
Exactly.
Lee Hughes as well, if you remember him, ran over a kid, I'm pretty sure, when he was drunk, and then went to prison, and then came back out and started playing again. Is
he the goalkeeper?
Striker.
Oh, striker. I think there was a goalkeeper as well recently. I can't remember who it was. Yeah, so there's a couple of examples around. So I think I don't really see why this one's so high.
It sounds like I guess the background of the case or whatever. It seems a bit sketchy. No one actually knows what happened. Did he do it? Didn't he do it? It seems like it's all just hearsay, he said, she said sort of thing, and there's no actual proof or concrete evidence that he did actually, in fact, rape her. Yeah,
and I think that's, you have to say on one hand, yes, he was convicted, therefore, in the eyes of the law, he's been found guilty.
But was it a correct conviction?
Yes, and I mean, that's why I'd be even more okay with him resuming a playing career when it's a case like this where it's so grey versus something like, for instance,
if it was
running over a kid.
If it was clear cut and he 100% raped her, then I'd say bad luck, you should be in jail. But something like, I don't know the background of the case or whatever, or the actual circumstances, but from what I've read, it seems that it's very sketchy and no one actually knows if he did it or not. I'm
surprised because I think Sky Sports did an interview at all of the League 1 and League 2 clubs, and pretty much all of them said they wouldn't sign him, apart from obviously Oldham. I suspect it's just this PC culture these days where clubs are very concerned about losing sponsors and all that, and their image, I guess, with being associated with someone like that. And it's a bit unfortunate, I suppose, but with the way football is, it's so high in the media and in everyone's eyes that clubs aren't willing to take that risk.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if your rivals say no, you're kind of obliged to say no too.
Yeah, for sure. Were there any other transfers that you guys wanted to discuss?
Victor Valdez has moved.
Yeah.
Is that confirmed? 100%?
I think it's been confirmed, yeah.
By every media paper, it will be confirmed on later today.
18-month deal, was it?
I thought he would have gone where he would have got first choice, but I mean, having him as a backup isn't so bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's also funny that Liverpool didn't get him, so...
Dig in the heels.
Yeah, so do you Manchester United boys see him as potentially competing with De Gea for that number one spot, or is De Gea still comfortably number one
There should only be one answer to this question.
De Gea is still number one.
Comfortably.
So is he more just in there as injury cover, do you reckon?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he hasn't played in, 12 months? But potentially more. I mean, he got promoted through the Barca youth team to the first team by Van Gaal, and then Van Gaal brought him in to do so he could do his rehab at United, and he's obviously going to hang around. Or Van Gaal thinks he's better than Lindegaard and Amos, so why not?
Yeah, good deal for you guys. Sorry.
Well, apparently Monaco are paying his wages too. So
how's that work?
What?
Because they apparently had an agreement with him, but they
Reneged
opted out of it, and something like that, and there's still wages need to be paid or something.
So are you paying any wages?
We'll probably pay some after a certain period, but he has
bizarre.
So you basically got this guy for free?
Yeah.
How bizarre.
Because I think he has a sign-on clause from when he signed a free contract for Monaco that hasn't been paid, so...
Jeez. Another goalkeeper who's moved on an 18-month free deal is Australia's own Mark Schwarzer. He's also joined Leicester. Good move for him, I guess. He's, 42 now, so he must be close to the end.
Will he play, or is he just...
Well, from the sounds of things, he'll be put in the first team ahead of Ben Hamer. Yeah.
Is he better than a goalkeeper?
Well, I wouldn't know, and that's the thing. I mean, at his age, you'd think he'd drop off pretty quickly at some point.
Keep cashing those checks.
It's odd that he's still playing at 42. I mean, is it a bit greedy, or 42 is a long time in football, even if you are a keeper. Say you've been playing since you're 18. That's 24 years, which is older than most of you guys, or one or two of you.
Yeah.
Sorry, Type Club and Bojan. But, I mean, 20, that's a lot of money, and surely the last, let's say, 2 or 3 years, for instance, isn't really going to make much difference. I mean, sure it would, but, I mean, when you got that much money, is 3 years really that much extra?
Well, it's just a strange deal from Leicester's point of view, because they've got Schmeichel, who's obviously he's out injured for a while.
I forgot about that.
And then they've got Hamer as backup, but Schmeichel's going to come back at some point within the next 18 months. He's not out for that long.
I thought going to Chelsea was an odd move, to be honest.
Well, I could understand that at least, because it was sort of,
trophies sort of thing, yeah.
Trophies and also sorting out his retirement. But,
yeah, the poor bloke earning 50,000 quid a week. How's he going to survive?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, I made the comment. I'm almost convinced that Fulham went down because when he left, they just didn't have that togetherness anymore. And he was sort of that first sign of them in a bit of trouble. So, I mean, if he'd stayed at Fulham, and he's ended up at Leicester, who's another small club anyway.
I mean, could be a good move for both parties, but, I mean, you'd have to think maybe after... How long is the contract? Does anyone know?
18 months, I think.
You'd have to think after that he'd retire.
Oh, for sure.
Because it'd be 43 going on 44, I mean... And his reflexes won't be as good, his jumping, all that physical stuff. He won't have much left in the tank, really, to be playing at that elite level.
Yeah, and I think he's pretty much made it clear he doesn't want to come back to the A-League, so you'd think he'd retire after that.
Don't blame him for that either.
All right, well, do we want to talk about, as the next big topic was the issues down at Barcelona, and I think Cookson and Type Club might have a little bit to say on this.
This is what I know. Do you have to go back to 2005 or does it start?
Oh, wow, history lesson. Come on, enlighten us.
You know how there was Laporta and Rosal? They had a bit of a falling out.
Laporta?
Yeah. I don't know, pronunciation's not the strong point.
Laporta.
Anyway, sorry.
Anyway, off you go, Cookson.
But yeah, they've had a falling out, and then Laporta got unelected, and Rosal came in 2010.
Rosal?
Yeah. Whatever, that wanker.
Rosal.
Yeah. Sandro. But yeah, pretty much, he proceeded to fall out with Pep Guardiola, proceeded to fall out with Messi.
So this is all Rosal's fault, really?
Yeah, pretty much, all goes on him, and he did the shifty deals to get Neymar and all that.
What's happened with Puyol and Zubizarreta now? Why have they got the boot?
I reckon.
Well, apparently Zubi didn't support Luis Enrique. He didn't want him appointed, and he was apparently he wasn't a Messi choice either. So Zubi was right behind Messi the whole time. He basically did whatever he wanted, and things aren't going well, and they've given Zubi the flick.
Jeez, I bet you're disappointed about that Type Club. 21 Barcelona, and you can't be happy.
It's just it's fun to watch, that's for sure.
A bit like when United were doing horribly.
I think we should give him a testimonial at the Bernabeu, Zubi's Raider. Perez is going to sign him up.
Why did Puyol get the flick? What was his role?
He resigned.
Well, a lot of things are happening. A lot of things that aren't really... It seems like everything's being leaked very slowly. Messi's not happy with Enrique. Zubi's not happy with Enrique. I don't know what Puyol's doing, but he's seen something that he doesn't like.
Maybe it's Enrique that's causing a bit of causing the water to ripple a little bit. Because to leave Neymar and Messi on the bench against whoever that was against
it was David Moyes' side.
Yeah, Sociedad. Yeah, it seems silly.
Yeah, but it's also silly to sign Suarez for 70 million and never play him. You know, on the weekend he tried him in the center and it didn't work for him. But
do you think that's still to do with Suarez adjusting to their game plan and whatnot, or
Suarez is just incompatible because he's fast direct and Barca aren't fast and direct.
Yeah, but they're also playing him on the right, so he's definitely incompatible in that sense. If he's playing through the center, of course he can. I think he could make it, but and on the weekend that's what he tried to do, Luis Enrique. I just don't know why he signed Luis Suarez. Neymar is a bit more flexible, but Suarez he's not very flexible. He's got to play through the middle, and you got Messi there already. I don't know why they're spending so much money on these players when you've already got Messi there.
They need defenders, not bloody forwards. Yeah. I mean, but you have to wonder as well how they'll go with this transfer ban. I mean, surely they'd have enough good products at La Masia to promote and bring through, but Xavi will surely retire this season, if not end of next. Iniesta's getting on, Mascherano's getting on, Alves I never really rated that highly. Surely they're going to have to... They don't have a choice but to bring youth products through La Masia to cover their transfer ban.
They probably will. Yeah. But here's also what apparently the big rumor is, that Luis Enrique will be sacked and Xavi will be made standby manager to the rest of the season.
I find that odd.
Yes, please.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Do you guys think Xavi would be a good manager or not?
Well, it's probably a bit too early considering he hasn't
done his badges and whatnot.
Yeah.
I don't think so because he's always talking about their tiki-taka style and how amazing it is, and even though it doesn't really hold up in the modern game, since 2012 it really hasn't held up. I think he'd just be a massive puppet, for that system.
I reckon they should just frank the ball.
That'd be a good appointment. Former player too. I mean,
Ajax trained, which again Barcelona they could really go hand in hand.
But he played for Barca too.
Yeah, he also played for that, but let's be honest, but Ajax and Barca are kind of hand-in-hand clubs.
Yeah. Just bring Cruyff back. That'll fix it.
And his timing is impeccable. He turned up on the weekend.
Hey?
He turned up on the weekend. I think he's part of the next bid or something.
I don't think he's too well liked there anymore. A lot of people aren't too fond of him because he says what he thinks and people don't like that.
He talks a lot of shit.
Bit like you, Cruyff.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Whoever said that? Oh, you'll keep.
Yeah. Do we see?
FA Cup. Who won the FA Cup tie?
Yeah. We're not doing any reviews of games, Cruyff. That was your idea. I'm happy to stick to that.
Also, another thing, David Moyes has managed to destroy 2 superpowers in the space of a year.
Do we see any likelihood of Messi leaving either this window or in the summer?
I read something, I don't know how accurate it was. It was just a headline, mind you, as well. It said that he'll be there until at least 2018.
Yeah.
But a lot of talk on the forum, as we've all seen, that there's only a handful of clubs that could actually afford him.
Yeah.
And Real's one, you doubt he'd go there.
I could see him going to somewhere like Bayern. With Guardiola there.
United could afford him. Chelsea.
Arsenal could probably afford him.
Arsenal could, but there's no way we'd pay it. I don't think we'd have any issue affording him, though. So that's what Bayern, Arsenal, United, Chelsea, PSG probably could, but I doubt he'd want to go there anyway.
Manchester City or not?
Oh yeah, City, yeah. So, but you'd say Bayern would be the front runners, I guess. Well, maybe you don't know if he'd go to Real and do a Figo, but anything's possible, really.
That would be so funny.
Would you like him then?
Oh, I'd love him there, absolutely.
So you rate him as a player type club?
Oh, if he joins Real Madrid, for sure.
What if Ronaldo goes to Barcelona?
If he comes to Real Madrid, they might just be equal, you know. If Ronaldo goes to Barcelona, no.
I guess Bayern would be the obvious choice though with Guardiola, but I mean, how much does it take to sign him? Apparently, he's worth 87 million euros more than Ronaldo, which I think they said he's worth 230 million euros. You'd make it all back in advertising and shirt sales and all that, but plus wages and all that, it's a lot of money to fork out. I mean, it'd be worth it. You'd probably get trophies out of it too, but I mean, it's a huge investment, and he's not getting any younger either.
Chelsea need to sell like Hazard, Courtois, Costa, and probably
Wait.
2 other players just to cover it in financial fair play.
That's FSP.
United don't have to sell anyone.
But Messi just followed Courtois on Chelsea's Instagram. I think he wants to play with him.
Look, I liked Faith's suggestion that he should drop down and play for a club like Hull or Leicester, just to show that he can do it at any level. You know, turn one of those clubs, preferably Hull, into a trophy-winning club. I'd enjoy that.
But Messi could buy Hull and call it Leo Messi Football Club.
No, you can't. You can't change your club's name, Cookson. We've established this.
But you would if it's Leo Messi.
No, you would if it's Hull.
Yeah, Leo can do anything.
Yeah. We might move on then. Were there any other transfer rumours we wanted to discuss?
Well, Arsenal linked with our under-12 Turkish centre-back.
Oh, yeah.
That looks like the most likely out of all of them.
Yeah. Sounds pretty likely.
Gerrard, I guess, is the other obvious one.
We should
off to Galaxy.
mention that.
He's slipping away.
Personally, I think he's finished.
That's the thing. He can still do like 30 minutes a week, but
that's it though. Can't play week in, week out 90 minutes a game or 80 minutes a game 2 or 3 times a week.
The funny thing is, I think a lot of Liverpool supporters were potting Rodgers for starting him in so many games, but didn't Gerrard cite that as one of the reasons he was leaving was because he wanted to start more games?
Supporters don't know their ass from their elbows these days. the way they can, Gerrard this, Gerrard that, He
Gerrard
would
is
be
the
able
best
to
EPL player of all time.
victory, blah, 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 blah. Well, just get real, guys. Open your eyes. Jeez.
I mean, there's a reason why Scholes is better. Because Scholes was a better footballer when he was 34.
I'd take Scholes personally.
And also, we should also applaud the miracle of a Scouser being employed for nearly 20 years.
Scouser, Stevie G.
I want to know what Bojan thinks.
Going to LA Galaxy now. Like, going from Liverpool, like...
What's your thoughts on it, Bojan?
On Stevie G?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's done.
Put a fork in him.
Yeah, absolutely. He can't play. I mean, if he's not realistic to realise that he's a liability at this point, why the hell is Brendan Rodgers playing him in defence midfield or as a holding midfielder? So he's just passed it in that position. He's not botched the box anymore.
I think he'd be alright in the 10 role.
Yeah, I was trying to say.
As a holding midfielder, though, to expect someone at 34 to do all that running and hard work is completely unrealistic, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, it only took teams about a month of this season, if that, to realise that when Liverpool are trying to play it at the back, just sit on Gerrard and Girdle, their other hack defenders try and bring the ball up. If you stop the ball going into him, then you're fine.
Yeah. Would we rate Liverpool's chances of winning the FA Cup on Gerrard's 35th birthday?
If he slips and gives the ball to Wayne Rooney, that would be fantastic.
Liverpool have to get past Brighton first. They struggled against Wimbledon.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, look, I mean, Liverpool could be a banana skin for Brighton in their FA Cup run.
Banana skin.
It's a danger game for Brighton.
And that's as well if Sturridge doesn't join the Red Sox.
Has Sturridge is Sturridge due back anytime soon?
No, he's on the beach.
He's been working at bats and all that.
Loving life in Boston.
He's not even on the in the continent.
I think that Liverpool need a lot of work personally, but I mean, and I think Rodgers is a lot to blame. A lot of the blame has to be placed on him.
Spend 100. Oh, what about Gerrard saying, if I met Rodgers 10 years ago, we'd be winning trophies? I'm thinking,
yeah,
please.
Where was Rodgers 10 years ago?
He would have been at Watford or something, wouldn't he?
Let's find out.
I think he would have been
Chelsea.
He was at Watford, wasn't he?
He got sacked at Reading.
Won the Champions League.
Yeah, he got sacked at Reading.
He was assistant at Chelsea at one point, wasn't he, under Mourinho?
Now,
yes.
I think he went to Watford, didn't he?
Yeah.
2005.
So
He wasn't even managing.
And so what he's saying is he wishes he joined Chelsea 10 years ago.
If Gerrard had joined Chelsea, he certainly would have won a lot of trophies.
Because Rodgers was there.
I'd still play Lampard and Gerrard in midfield.
Yeah.
Well, it says here, on the 24th of November 2008, Rodgers left Chelsea in order to become the manager of Championship side Watford.
Yeah.
So, I mean, 10 years ago, Brendan Rodgers, you wouldn't know him if you ran into him at the local plastic surgeon.
Plastic surgeon would know, though.
Well, speaking of Liverpool, we'll move on to the previews for this weekend. And Liverpool are in the early game up against Sunderland. It's at Stadium of Light. Decent chance for Sunderland to get the win?
Yes, absolutely.
As good a chance as any.
In my opinion.
Where is it, sorry? Stadium of Light.
Stadium of Light, yeah.
At Sunderland. Sunderland have done all right. They've been a bit up and down, but, I mean, in their big game, you look at Newcastle, that's the biggest game of this season for them, and they won that. So, I mean, Liverpool aren't great. Who'd they beat, like Burnley or something?
No, they drew with Leicester, didn't they?
They drew with Leicester and they beat Burnley. I mean, they're not. Sunderland should be confident of potentially being able to take 3 points.
Yeah,
they were really lucky against Leicester too. Really lucky.
Very lucky, yeah.
Yeah, that dodgy penalty.
They didn't score a goal from open play.
2 penalties. One of them was pretty iffy.
And that's putting it lightly.
Just putting it lightly, yeah.
I mean,
the other one.
Liverpool got an iffy penalty. Why? That usually never happens.
Sunderland should be looking to snatch a win. It's doable in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely.
Go for it.
The next game to talk about is Chelsea up against Newcastle. Newcastle have a very good record against Chelsea, obviously getting the first win of the season against Chelsea, or the first defeat for Chelsea of the season. It's at Stamford Bridge though, so maybe better fortunes for Chelsea there.
Yeah, but Newcastle lost Guardiola, so...
Yeah. Who's going to be their manager? Is there any word on that?
Alan Shearer?
Bring him back.
Bring back Shearer, yeah.
Shearer's a terrible manager.
Yeah.
Get him off TV.
I wouldn't go anywhere near Shearer, to be honest.
I don't know who they're seriously looking at though. I think there's some talk at managers from the continent.
Lagarde.
Yeah.
Or Guard, sorry. Le Guen, and a few other Frenchies and some other people I hadn't heard of.
They'd obviously
Clement from Real Madrid.
Yeah, Clement is another one.
Yeah.
They'd probably go for the cheap option, knowing Ashley.
Yeah.
Sorry,
promote one of the players.
Do you think they'd maybe, or some other teams would look at Roberto Martinez?
I don't know.
I'm not convinced about Martinez now. I don't think he'll last the season.
He's favourite to be sacked.
Yeah, if this form keeps up, or lack of form, really, I mean, he's surely got to get the boot.
I mean, he was saying Everton fans were saying David Moyes hold us back, blah, blah, blah. It's like, David Moyes was helping you get better with his defensive stuff.
Yeah. Well, Martinez has had one, he's had his honeymoon period where he's done pretty well with them, but he's starting to, the defence at Everton is appalling at the moment. He's playing Gareth Barry as the centre-back, and he got ripped to shreds against Hull. Should have had a penalty given away in the first few minutes. They're playing 3 at the back.
You guys beat them, didn't you?
We did, 2-0.
Yeah, at home?
At home.
Yeah.
But they're playing a back 3 and they're not even using wing backs. They're playing a back 3 within a
suicide in England.
It's
really.
like a 3-4-2-1 formation or something, which just looks really strange. So I don't know what he's doing with them. He had Lukaku on the bench. I think he started with Coney up forward with Lukaku and Eto'o on the bench. So who knows?
They could be in for a massive hiding this weekend.
They could either up against Man City, and I think that would be 5 losses in a row for them. We'll actually go on to talk about that now because that's the next match up for discussion was Everton-Man City. If they lose that, that's 5 in a row, and surely Martinez comes under a lot of scrutiny.
Yep. Put your money on the Aguero hat-trick.
Do you reckon he'll start?
Probably, I don't know. It's only Everton.
Because I saw Kizza said...
He'll come on in the 80th minute and score 3 in 10 minutes.
Yeah. Well, I saw Kizza said he'll be definitely in the squad.
Maybe too early for fantasy yet.
I don't think he'll play. They'll probably be...
If they were up there,
3-0 up at half-time.
If they were 2 goals up, say, surely you'd put him out there, give him a run to get some match fitness.
Last 20 minutes or something, maybe, yeah.
You'd do the exact opposite, wouldn't you? I mean, you'd only really want to use him if it's close. I mean, if you're already easily winning, just give him an extra week off.
If it was close, though, would you put a striker who isn't match fit on, hoping to score your goals?
I know us. We don't have a Liverpool supporter to ask that question. Oh well.
The jokes do not get old.
I don't know, man.
Especially the Liverpool ones.
So, just looking ahead for Everton, I mean, then the next game, they've got West Brom next week, followed by Palace. So they've got a couple of easy games coming up, and then they've got the Merseyside derby against Liverpool after that. If they say pick up maybe only one win in their next 3 games, that would leave them pretty squarely in a relegation fight.
Surely, if they get, say, 1 point from the next 3 or 4 games, surely Martinez will be gone.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
their 13 was 21 points, and they're only 4 points through the relegation zone.
And if they don't beat Liverpool, big trouble there.
I mean, that's the most winnable game, isn't it?
Well, especially if Sterling's tired.
They've got to finish ahead of Liverpool.
So, surely, yeah, I mean, I think Newcastle going down a couple of years ago shows that there's no club that's invincible, and a club like Everton or Villa, even the 2 clubs probably that are at most risk of being the next club to be relegated out of the clubs that have never been relegated. So it'd be danger days for Everton, really.
Yep.
Yeah.
On to Villa, they struggle to score goals.
And they're up against Leicester this week. A smooth transition to that match.
Good segue. I know. No worries, SM. No worries.
No worries.
Leicester could grab a win. It's at the King Power Stadium. So I mean, with Villa's, I think they've only scored 11 goals all season or something.
Which
Leicester
is
should
crazy.
be looking to expose that and really go at Villa and try and score.
Leicester have looked very good up forward. It's just their defending that's an issue for them. And if they play like they did against us, or if they can snatch a goal and then just sit back and defend, I'd give them a pretty good chance of getting a win in this one.
Are they going to have their new striker available? Kramaric or Kramaric? What do you say?
Kramaric.
Whenever I see his name, I just think of Kramer from Seinfeld.
Hopefully they look the same.
At least he'd be nice and tall for those crosses coming in. I think he should be. I think he should be available. I think he's officially signed by now, so the paperwork should be through.
Yeah, the medical.
So no, it'd be interesting if they have him and Ujoa up front.
I'd back Leicester.
Yeah.
Or it'll be a 0-0 draw.
Those games always are.
Back 0-0 draw, boring for everyone.
Yep.
Skip watching it, really. Plenty of game to watch.
And the following night on the Sunday, we've got Arsenal up against their favourite opponent, Stoke, at the Emirates. Stoke chance to do the double over Arsenal?
I think at the Emirates we should be looking to win, really, but who knows if they'll kick the shit out of us or not. I mean, they're a very, very physical side, as everyone knows, but you'd think in our backyard we should be taking 3 points.
Do you see that the BBC was saying that Stoke's been linked with Shaqiri? Well, they're interested in signing him.
I read that on Big Footy and just laughed.
The only thing that made me take that seriously was the fact it was the BBC, because they seem to report things quite genuinely.
You wouldn't think so, he'd go there. But I mean, just let Sanchez run wild and hope for the best.
Do you reckon Sanchez will start?
Yes.
He's just played 4 games in 10 days.
Apparently Wenger gave him the option to rest against Hull, and he said he wanted to play.
I was really surprised he started. My mate was actually at the game, and he said Sanchez was limping around during the warm-up. I was really surprised he started and didn't actually...
Fantastic news. Just what every Arsenal fan wants to hear.
Yeah. Well, actually interested that he didn't injure himself in that game. Obviously scored the second goal, but...
I think what amuses me, though, is of all the games he didn't start the London derby against Spurs.
Yeah.
Of all the games you'd rest him, why he's probably played every game since, but why would you rest him against Spurs at home? I mean, it's don't get me started on Arsene.
Yeah, and then the final game for the week is Man United up against Southampton.
Skipped 2 games.
I've skipped a couple. I'm just going through the highlights at the moment.
United Southampton should be a good game, actually.
It's at Old Trafford. Hopefully, we should win. I mean,
I wouldn't be surprised if Southampton nicked a win.
It was 2-1 in the reverse, wasn't it?
Yeah, but we have less players injured. I mean, Darley Blind could come back. Di Maria will start.
I heard Shaw and somebody else got injured during your FA Cup match.
Don't worry, they've got Blackett.
Raphael.
Is Di Maria back?
Yeah. Raphael will play. I mean, he just needs to put on that Batman mask that they all wear.
Yeah.
What do you guys, United fans particularly, thoughts on Raphael?
He's a brilliant fullback. He's just
got a good name.
Brilliant. Wow.
He's fine. When he actually gets a consistent run without getting suspended or more commonly injured, he's quite good. Yeah. But if coming back from an injury or from a suspension, he just does stupid stuff. So He needs to get a decent run at it.
I don't think he's the smartest of players. He makes some dumb decisions, in my opinion.
I just think that he's better. He's beaten Ribery. He's beaten Hazard. He's beaten Bale.
Define beaten.
I mean, in their he had him in his pocket.
Thumb wrestling.
Don O'Shea beat Luis Figo once.
What?
That was a nutmeg, though. That was an entertaining thing. But still, I'll back Raphael. He just needs... His issue is just...
How old is he?
Like 25.
Okay.
24, I think.
I don't think he's... I'm not saying he's a poor player by any means, but I just don't think he's... I guess every fan over-race players at their own club, but I don't think he's what United fans build him up to be. He's good, he's serviceable and solid, but I don't think he's fantastic. But that's just my opinion. I would take Glenn Johnson over Raphael.
Oh. You are kidding.
Yes, I am kidding.
I'd rather play with 10 men.
The other big news story of the festive period was Alan Pardew leaving Newcastle and heading to Crystal Palace, and he has his first Premier League game as Crystal Palace manager against Spurs as the late game on the Saturday night. Do we think Pardew can lead Palace up the table?
No.
Potentially.
I mean, Jedinak's
not in this game anyway.
Palace suffer from a poor squad as well, I think, and they've lost Jedinak because of the Asian Cup, whatever it's called. That leaves a big hole in their midfield and potentially their best player. But I think with the loss of Jedinak, they'll struggle, and Pardew isn't good enough to lift them that much. But potentially he could get them out of a bit of strife. Whether it's out of the relegation zone or not, we'll see.
What, 17?
Harry Kane flying.
Sorry?
Yeah, I think Pardew...
At the moment. Sorry.
You go top club?
I think Pardew is better suited for one of the top clubs rather than the relegation battlers. I think some managers are suited for different roles, and I don't think he's suited with really bad players, you know?
Yeah.
Sorry, Milan, but yeah.
Yeah, and sorry, what were you saying, Bojan?
I was just saying that I think Pardew's going to struggle here big time, particularly this week, given the form of Harry Kane. I'd be putting cash on him for a hat-trick, I think.
Yeah, I think Kane will tear them apart.
Harry Kane, exactly. So that will be an interesting one. Absolutely, Harry Kane's shown some tremendous form. So 2 goals against Chelsea?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that's quite good.
Just on Harry Kane, do you think Spurs will be able to hold on to him or not?
No.
I think they will, actually, because he strikes me as the sort... He's come through their academy, he loves Tottenham, and he's not the sort of player that would go overseas, I don't think.
Yeah, but what if Man United come knocking with...
But would Man United really need another striker? They've got a couple of...
Rooney's old. It depends if they sign Falcao. Van Persie's old.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess in that case, I could see them hanging on to him for another couple of years, until Van Persie and so on retire.
Van Persie's 32 or something now, I think, or 31.
Yeah, but we still have Wilson coming through, so...
Oh, Wilson, look out.
And we have Enriquez also banging in goals in the...
They should develop him a bit more.
I think he'll be at Spurs for at least this season and the next season, but if they don't make Europe, I think he'll be off. Same with Christian Eriksen.
Eriksen will be gone soon. I mean,
he's a fantastic player.
To where? I don't know.
Real Madrid?
Yeah. Because Madrid need another number 10.
Oh, we just like Tottenham players. We've got the special relationship, and so we prefer them to develop the players rather than sell, and then come in.
Amongst the Saturday night 2 a.m. games, you also have the relegation 6-pointer between Burnley and QPR. Burnley have been in pretty decent form lately. I think they did all right in the FA Cup as well. They got a draw with Spurs, the side we were just talking about. So do we reckon Burnley can turn a corner and actually start to jump up the table a bit?
Yeah, because Burnley are looking a bit more defensively solid.
Yeah, I mean that's always a good thing to see in relegation sides, relegation potential sides is defensive strength, I suppose.
Yeah, I reckon Burnley they have come up a bit, but I don't think they're the kind of team who stays up. I think they're going to go up and down. I reckon they'll go back down soon.
So inconsistent is how you would label them.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to stay up for too much longer.
Bit of a yo-yo side, yeah.
I think their manager's quite likeable. Dyche, I think. Sean Dyche. Ugly bastard, but comes across as quite likeable.
So at this stage, who do we reckon would be the 3 sides looking most likely to go down?
Leicester?
Yeah, Leicester.
Yeah.
Possibly West Brom?
And Palace, perhaps?
Yeah,
What's
but you got to throw Burnley. You can't discount Burnley.
So probably out of those four. So well, really, it's the bottom four at the moment, isn't it?
Maybe Hull as well.
You twat.
Everton's not a bad shout, really. I mean, they're 4 points clear, but the way they're only going south.
They've lost 4 games in a row. This would be 5 if they lose to Man City. And then, even when they're coming... Like, for instance, you look at how they played against us. On any normal day, they should be beating us quite comfortably. But the way that they're playing at the moment, the confidence that's... like they've got no confidence in the side. And they're dropping points at, a side like Hull. So you can't say that next week they'll go to West Brom and they'll actually get the points. Because West Brom could very well beat them. And then, all of a sudden, they're below West Brom.
Yeah, exactly right.
They spend so much money on Lukaku, and I think that system really doesn't suit him at all.
Flop. Absolute flop.
Yeah. What I think I was saying before, Everton really didn't make that many additions over the summer. They brought in Eto'o, but apart from that, they turned Barry and Lukaku into permanents. But Eto'o was really the only addition to their squad. When you think about what their side was like last season, and when you look at any side that stands still in that sort of manner...
Their problem as well, they've got Distin, who's their starting centre-back, and he's 36. That needs to be amended.
And I think they've got Stones coming through, who will probably take that spot.
Yeah, he's good.
But they're not making enough changes right now, as you're saying. I think Barry's the one who's sort of been playing at centre back to cover for Distin. But
let's be honest, he's not really an athlete.
Oh, he's not. No, he's very slow.
Yeah.
So I mean, when you've got a slow player trying to cover for an even slower, well, I mean, Distin's not slow. He's actually pretty quick for his age, but mentally, he's probably quite slow now.
That's racist.
Who'd you say that about?
Distin? You know what I meant.
Racist.
We were saying the same about Schwarzer. When they're getting to that sort of age...
Is ageist.
You're a tough SM. If you were from the inner west of Sydney,
yeah,
I'm sure you'd have a different mindset, but the North Shore, it's changed you.
Oh, it has. It has. Were there any closing thoughts from everyone before we sign off?
Ballon d'Or's coming up.
Did you have a fell on the floor nominee?
No, I haven't had any crap dives yet.
But
the actual thing is coming, though.
Who do we reckon is going to win that?
Ronaldo, surely.
Yeah.
Surely.
Yeah, Ronaldo, comfortably.
But the second and third, though, who?
Messi, the Neuer.
Yeah.
How about Muller?
Well, they already know the top 3.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of who's going to come second.
Oh, they've got their short list?
Yeah, the top 3 are Neuer, Messi, and Ronaldo.
Just how much attention I'm paying.
Who do we reckon will win the young player?
Who's nominated for it?
I think Sterling was, and was Hazard nominated again?
He won't make it to the ceremony, he's too tired.
Hazard doesn't seem that young.
I think it's under 24s, so I think Hazard still just made it.
He apparently turned 24 yesterday or something.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's... I'd assume he'd be eligible.
I think Pogba will.
Yeah,
I'm
Pogba.
hoping they pay a tribute to Zubi Zareta at the ceremony. I hope he shows up because all the Barca guys are so pissed off at the moment. They said they're not even going to show up there.
Yeah, I read that actually. They're going to boycott it.
Yeah, because of the FIFA ban, they're saying we're not going to associate with you guys. So maybe Messi won't be on the cover of FIFA 15 or 16.
They'll release their own football game.
It's Barca 2016.
Yeah. And there's you can't transfer players. You just have to build up your youth players.
You think Pogba would be a fair shout?
Yeah.
Pogba.
Goetze maybe as well.
Yeah. Pogba is the best at the age.
Rodriguez.
Imagine having Pogba at your club and letting him go so young because
you'd be kicking yourself, wouldn't you? You'd be kicking yourself.
Yeah.
You'd feel an absolute fool.
Jeez, imagine letting a player like that go for a pittance.
The manager that did that would have to be pretty terrible.
Only could ask someone of that club how they feel.
If only.
It was a
He
mistake.
had a few mistakes at the end of his career. That was one.
How about letting a player of Fabregas's ilk go and then having the chance to sign him back and turning it down?
How about losing an FA Cup final?
Arsenal would know about that too, so...
Yeah.
How about losing a Champions League final?
Hey, you lost one.
How about
well.
the main striker?
I think with Fabregas, on the serious, it would have been good to have Fabregas, but it was a position we didn't need to fill.
But the position he's playing now at Chelsea would be basically taking someone like Flamini's spot in the team, wouldn't it?
Nah, are you taking the piss or not?
Wenger probably would though.
Oh, Jesus. I'm getting the Mickey taken out of me here. It's come back to bite me on the bum. Anyway.
On that note, we might sign off for the day. So thank you, boys, for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for making your first appearance, Bojan.
Thanks for the invitation.
No worries. And for everyone, thank you for listening, and we'll see you on the boards.